Hello everybody, my name is EK and welcome back to more RuneScape. So someone had told me that I should go to the Varrock museum and check the bottom floor. Now I don't know what's in here, but this looks rather interesting. So Orlando Smith, let's just, immediately hop in here and have a bit of a chat with Orlando. Good day there, mate. Good day, are you alright? You look a little lost. Well, mate, to tell you the truth, I think I've come a gutter with these displays. Come on, what? That's what I was wondering. Like, what's a gutter? I've never heard that word. Gutter and no mistake. Me boss asked me to put together a quiz for the visitors. But to be dead set with you, I wasn't paying much attention to me boss over there, and I've done a bit of a rush job. You mean the natural historian? Yep, that's the bloke. Say mate, you do me a favor. So I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Australian, right? I think. Perhaps, what do you need? Well, you look like a pretty smart cobber. Could you take a look at the display plaques and give them a run through? Sure thing. Bonza mate, I reckon 3 questions per case should be bang to rights. Take a gander at each case and I'll look over your shoulder to give some advice. Will do. Alright, so what exactly are we talking about? There are some display cases down here, so I reckon I just go in here. There's a teacher and a pupil, a natural historian. I guess I can go chat to these NPCs, which I will do in just a moment. But first, let's just have a bit of a look at what these things are. So examine the penguin display. Nice suit. Why, thank you. Oh, study. Can I study the plaques for every one of these? Yeah, I can. So study plague. What is the preferred climate for penguins? That's cold. Nice job, mate. That looks about right. Which sense do penguins rely on when hunting? I mean, it's hard to use taste to hunt because, you're looking to hunt something and you haven't yet tasted that specific one. So I don't know how taste would help. Smell? Maybe? I'm gonna go sight. Nice job, mate. That looks about right. Which skill seems unusual for penguins to possess? So, sleeping, no, like every animal as far as I'm aware sleeps. Fishing makes a lot of sense as well. Planning, that's something that requires a certain level of cognitive ability that I would be quite surprised if penguins are aware of that. Nice job, mate. That looks about right. Bonza, mate, I think that's all of them. Dude, this is cool. I like doing quizzes. Quizzes are fun. What's this button, by the way? Press the button. Oh, it's going, it's dancing, it's happy feeling. Museum kudos, 2 out of 235. Can I study the plaque again? The penguin Spenicidae calidus? Is that the Latin word for it? So here we go, press this button. What's going on over here? So we have a mushroom and some sort of slug. I think that is rather disturbing. So let's see. Let's check out this one as well. What is the favorite habitat of leeches? I'm pretty sure they prefer to live in water, right? Nice job, mate. Thank you. What is so special about Mauritanian leeches? I have no idea. They attack by jumping? Oh, cool. Nice. Which of these is not eaten by leeches? I mean, worms consume apples, right? Because they're found in apples. But I feel like they only consume, like, fleshy things. So apples, probably. There we go. Beautiful. Bonza, mate, I think that's all of them. That's museum kudos number 4. Alright, so next up, let's see what this thing is. So this is a camel. And, I mean, there's a different animal with like 2 bumps and the one with 1 bump. So I'm not quite sure what the English one is for the other one. I always forget which one the camel is. I think the camel is one with 2. And then the one with the like singular bump, that's a different species. But I don't know what the English name for that species is. But let's just press this button. And here we go. We're looking at it. And we just look at it just being very poor. Like, just like, it doesn't have any space to move. It's even stuck between 2 cactuses or cacti. And like, how is it supposed to move? Like, it has to like literally park itself in order to move back. Like it's like a car in reverse. I feel kind of bad for it. So, no, not teacher and pupil. Hold on. I'll talk to you later. But first, let me do these plagues. What is produced by feeding chili to a camel? An irate camel? I don't think so. Try again. Okay. Well, I mean, 6 right in a row. You know, you gotta get one wrong sometimes. Where would you find an Ukthanki? I'm assuming an Ukthanki is this creature, and I'm assuming it is in Alkreet. There we go. This is a desert. Camels. Herbivore, carnivore, or omnivore? That's actually interesting. Do they eat everything? I'm gonna go. Actually, I think they're herbivores. But yeah. Oh, okay. Then I guess it's. Oh, okay. Which camel byproduct is known to be very nutritious? I mean, meat, I guess, is always nutritious, but I do think they could. Is it milk? Because they have like milk in their big things, right? If an Ukthanki has 1, how many does a Bactrian have? 1? No, sorry. 2? There we go. Beautiful. That's all of them. Next one. Press the button. All right, this is a... Oh, it's a... Is that a mole? Is that some sort of mole? Okay, here we go. Let's see. What would you call a group of young moles? I'm gonna go with a litter. Like cats. That's a litter, right? Like a litter box. Who discovered giant moles? Akharanu. Okay, at this point I'm just kind of guessing. What habitats do moles prefer? That is subterranean. Which family do moles belong to? The Malpidae, the Talpidae, or the Phalpidae? Malpidae. I have no idea what those words mean. What's a mole's favorite food? I think it eats insects, doesn't it? Humans and gnomes. Oh my god. I think it's insects. What is a mole's favorite food? Oh, same thing, insects. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so I guess the entire video today will just be spent me answering questions here. Wasn't expecting to be this big of a thing, but now I kind of want to check out all of them, so I guess I'll commit to all of them. Let's have a chat to the teacher and the pupil who are walking hand in hand a little bit disturbingly. What do you want to see now, dear? The penguins! The penguins! Go check out the penguins. Alright, let's talk to the schoolboy, who's like hopping very cheerfully. My dad says he got bitten by a giant snail once. The schoolgirl says, yay, a day of school! Having a day of school where it was not expected, isn't that like the best feeling ever? The Calphite Queen is so scary. It felt so good if for some random reason like your school got cancelled, which didn't happen often, like almost never, but when it happens, oh my god, that one day you're like, oh my god, I have all the time in the world right now. It's beautiful. We're going to see the dragons, they're my favorite. Well, I will slay them. Okay, natural historian. Let's have a bit of a chat here, sir. Hello there, and welcome to the Natural History exhibit of Varrock Museum. Hello, so what is it you do here? Well, we look after all of the research in this section. When I'm not doing that, I'm teaching people like yourself about how wonderful the natural world is. Nice. So then, I've got a few questions for you. Well, fire away, and I'll give you insight into the exciting world of animals. So tell me about camels. Ah, camels, the ships of the desert. If you follow me to the display case, I shall explain all about them. Ooh! We're going to be taught something. The term camel refers to either of the 2 known species of camlet. There is the Bactrian, which has 2 humps and can be found throughout Alkreet. It also refers to the Ukthanki, a 1-humped camel. Camels are ill-tempered beasts and, at best of times, requiring a great deal of time and effort to tame. This would explain why used camel salesmen are in such a hurry to get rid of them. In the wild, camels have been known to lie in wait and ambush hapless travelers before devouring them. That sounds a bit aggressive. This is quite surprising, as most domestic camels are happy eating nothing but vegetables. Camel milk is much more nutritious than cow milk and goes well in the strong desert drink akin to tea. Ooh, now I'm gonna want to drink some tea. Maybe I'll grab myself a bit of tea in a moment. Another useful camel byproduct is dung. Their dung is very dry due to the high efficient metabolism of the camel. Scientific research has... What is he doing? Is he just sitting down over there or what? So scientific research has also shown that chili has a disastrous effect on camels' digestive system, which produces toxic dung. And this concludes my short lecture on camels. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. You know what? We should... If every... I'm assuming there's like multiple corners where you can go into. We should definitely talk to the guy who's going to give us the information. Then there's going to be the test, you know? How can I help you? Well, tell me this time about leeches. You know, because today we're learning something together, guys. Today we're becoming wiser. Leeches, the hemophagic parasites. I guess that's how you pronounce that. If you just follow me to the display case, then I shall explain all about them. But here we go again. Leeches are fascinating creatures and are very similar to worms in most respects. What is he doing on the floor? Is he like pretending to be a leech or something? They like to inhabit streams, rivers and seas, but their preference is for stagnant pools of water. One of the most common misconceptions is that all leeches feed on blood. In fact, very few leeches are parasitic, blood-sucking animals. Most leeches are meat eaters, feeding on a variety of invertebrates such as worms, snails, insect larvae and snails. Those that do feed on blood have developed an amazing method of doing so. Firstly, they latch onto the skin using a ring of tiny teeth before injecting their prey with an anesthetic. Then, they bite into the skin using a Y-shaped mouthpiece and introducing a chemical that stops the blood from clotting. They will then feed until they are completely full, sometimes doubling in size. Most leeches are very small, measuring no more than the length of your middle finger. An exception to these are leeches of Mortinia, which can reach the size of a dog. They are much more mobile than their smaller cousins and are able to jump rather high when attacking. Quite how these leeches came to be so big is something of a mystery. All we can assume is that there is some kind of environmental influence which has governed their immense growth. And this concludes my short lecture on leeches. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Alright, we keep on going. Sir, where are you now? Here we go. Tell me more. Tell me something about moles. Moles. The mammalian mountain makers. Alright, let's go back to the display case. And have a bit more of a chat. Sir. Now, moles are small mammals of the Talpidae family. These subterranean burrowers mainly live on the diet of slugs, snails and insects. They vary greatly in habitat and can be found in almost every part of Gilnor. Some species have even known to be aquatic. Oh, cool. Male moles are known as boars, with the females called sows. Should you come across a group of moles, you would call them a laber. Moles are considered to be an agricultural pest in most places, digging up the ground and leaving molehills all over the place. This has been highlighted in Falador by Weiss and de Gardere, who, after using some Malignus Modifius Super Ultra Flora Growth Potion, managed to create Gilnor's only known species of giant mole. This fearsome beast has huge claws, wicked teeth and a penchant for shiny objects. It is a very tough animal with a thick protective hide and an ill temperament. That said, they do benefit the soil by aerating and tilting it, adding to its fertility. Contrary to popular belief, moles don't eat plant roots. And this concludes my short lecture on moles. Alright, and we have one lecture remaining, guys. I hope you're all taking notes, by the way, because all of this will be in the exam, okay? I hope you're writing stuff down right now. You have your notepad in front of you, whether it's digital or whether it's physical. Make sure you write some notes down because I'm going to be questioning each and every one of you. Anyway, let's go back to the natural historian. And finally, tell us about penguins. Penguins, the cunning birds of the sea. Here we go. Penguins, they are amazing, of course, so let's have a bit of a chat about penguins. This often maligned aquatic bird is known to be native to the ice fields of Etcetera, although they have been known to live as far as the fields of Lumbridge. I mean, I do know there's two penguins in a sheep's costume next to the sheep shearer quest guy near Lumbridge. These aquatic birds seem to spend the majority of their time eating and fostering their young. Unlike most animals that prefer cold climes, these spiniciforms work very well together in large groups by watching for predators and caring for each other's young. For creatures with such small brains, they do seem to have a disproportionate capacity for forward thinking and planning. As this serves no natural purpose, scholars divide as to how this evolved. The diet consists mainly of fish, squid, and a small shrimp-like creature called krill. However, some have developed a taste for the mushrooms that grow around fairy rings. Penguins primarily rely on their vision while hunting. What we don't know is how penguins locate prey in the darkness, or at great depths. Some theories suggest that penguins are helped by some sort of extrasensory perception, perhaps even precognition. Penguins spend a long time going without food when they are breeding. In fact, they won't even leave their nests if they can help it. Fortunately, most penguins build up a layer of fat to keep them warm and provide energy until the molt is over. And this concludes my short lecture on penguins. Alright guys, I think we have completed this room. Now I don't know if this is the first of many rooms, although it does appear that there's more rooms indeed. So let's go to this one with a big reptile, might be dragon. So teacher and pupil, are these the same? The penguins! But the penguins are over there, lady, they're over there, just like go there, okay? So are these the same dialogue things? There's also 2 natural historians here, so let's have a bit of a chat to this guy. And tell me about natural history, Terrabirds, Calphite Queen. Okay, natural history. Well, the field of natural history covers a wide range of sciences. So we use biology, the study of living things, botany, the study of plants, and zoology, the study of animals. Though the field is growing all the time, and we're also using techniques from magic, astrology, and numerology. A person interested in natural history is known as a naturalist. Okay. And now tell me something about terrabirds. Ah, terrabirds, the fastest bird on 2 legs. Alright, let's go to the display case. Here we go. Terrabirds live... Oh yeah, he's pretending to be a bird right now, isn't he? He's pecking. Terrabirds live in nomadic groups of between 5 and 50 birds that often travel together with other grazing animals. They mainly feed on seeds and other plants. They also eat insects such as locusts if they can catch them. They have no teeth to chew with, so they swallow pebbles that help to grind the swallowed foods in the gizzard. They can go without water for a long time, exclusively living off the water in the plants. However, they enjoy water and frequently take baths when they can. Terrabirds are known to eat almost anything, particularly in captivity where opportunity is increased. Terrabirds usually weigh a little less than a small unicorn. The feathers of an adult male are mostly green, with some white on the wings and tail. There are claws on 2 of the wings' fingers, and their strong legs have no feathers. The bird stands on 2 toes, with the bigger one resembling a hoof. Its feet have no claws. This is an adaptation unique to terrabirds that appears to aid in running. Their legs are powerful enough to kill even large animals. The gnomes in particular prize the terrabird for its fast running speed, using them as mounts whenever possible. There are a number of recorded incidents of people being attacked and killed. Big males can be very territorial and aggressive, and can attack and kick very powerfully with their legs. A terrabird is so fast, it can easily outrun any human athlete. And this concludes my short lecture on terrabirds. Alrighty then, we move on. So there's also this thing. So is this natural historian just like the same guy, but like a secondary model? Yeah, so the Calphite Queen. Ah, Calphites, the insectoid-eating machines. The Calphites, otherwise known as Calliscarbanae, are perhaps the largest species of insect on the face of Gillinor. Their queen is called Calliscarbanae pasha. Most of the early documentation and research on this fearsome predatory species was performed by the noted bug hunter Iqbar Ali Abdallah. This, of course, was before he was driven insane by his research and ran off into the desert screaming. Calphites are related to beetles and scorpions. They are mainly green in color. Some have remarkable antennae which can detect the slightest movement. Their carapace is composed of armored plates called lamellae. This shell can be compressed into a ball or fanned out like leaves in order to sense odors. The front legs are adapted for digging the enormous tunnel systems that serve as their nests. They exist in a caste-based society, with the soft-shelled larvae at the bottom, up to the workers, soldiers, and finally the queen. Voracious carnivores, a pack of adult workers can strip the flesh from a full-grown camel in a matter of seconds, leaving nothing but a few bones and strips of fur for other scavengers to pick up. They typically live in large nests marked by the rock-hard pillars found in hot, arid deserts, such as the one southwest of Al-Kharid, which rise out of the sands like the tombs of the desert pharaoh. Indeed, there is some relationship between the Calphite queen and the desert god Scarabaeus, but no one is really sure what. During the early part of the 4th Age, Scarabaeus proclaimed himself omnipotent and outlawed worship of all other gods save him. When the people eventually revolted against his oppressive rule and banished Scarabaeus, it is said his blood washed over the scarabs and transformed them into the Calphites we know today. Of course, any right-minded scientist discounts these myths as mere stories, with no historical basis in fact. And this concludes my short lecture on Calphites. Alright, now, on to the questions. Are Calphites carnivores, herbivores, or omnivores? They're carnivores. What are the armored plates on Calphite called? They're called lamellae. And name the prominent figure in Calphite mythology. It's Scarabaeus. I like how one of the options was Posty Pete. That is beautiful. That is all of them. And also, let's just take a quick look at this beauty. Ooh, it does look very dangerous indeed. Very dangerous. Alright, so I remember a little bit less about this one, but we can still go in. Who uses terrorbirds as mounts and gnomes? Where do terrorbirds get most of their water? Streams and rivers? Sorry, I couldn't quite remember that one. What is the terrorbirds' preferred food? It's not pizza, it's not... Is it anything? I think it was anything, yeah. What do terrorbirds eat to aid digestion? Wasn't it stones? Yeah, there we go. And also, let's take a bit of a look at the terrorbird. Let's see what kind of movement it has. Dude, those are red eyes that make them sound very, very dangerous. Alright, we move on to whatever is coming up next, which is going to be to the right over here. So there's 8 more to go through, I think. Oh my god, will my throat survive this reading session? I do not know. Especially because I also have something else planned for the next video, which I was hoping to record tonight, and I will record tonight most likely, but I'll keep it a bit of a secret. You know, some of you guys in the clan, you might know what's coming up for the next video, but I don't want to spoil it just yet. So let's talk to the natural historian, and he tells me about snails. Ah, snails, the gelatinous gastropods. Snails move like worms by squishing up and stretching out very, very slowly. They also make a lot of slime in order to aid moving by reducing friction. They also use slime for protection. For instance, snails can use their slime to crawl over razor blades without being hurt. Really? Is that a thing? Guys, is this info, like all the stuff that is related to the real world, all correct? Obviously there is some fiction like sprinkled in there, but the stuff that is related to fact, is it correct? I don't know. I don't know enough about biology to really gauge whether it's correct or not. It also helps keep away dangerous insects like ants. When they hide in their shells, snails secrete a special type of slime, which dries to cover the entrance of their shells like a trapdoor. This is called operculum. The snails of Martinia are the most malignant mollusks ever to have been studied. They are broken down into 2 distinct species, Achatina acidia and Achatina acidia giganteus, or, as they are more commonly known, the acid-spitting snail and the giant acid-spitting snail. Both of these varieties are voracious carnivores, using their mutated mouthpieces to spit a glob of powerful acid to kill their foe. Then they simply have to wait whilst the digestive juices make short work of the poor creature. Then they simply slurp up what remains. How these strange creatures came to be is still something of a mystery. The most prevalent theory suggests that they mutated as a reaction to a as yet unknown pollutant that has appeared in the swamps. Ooh, interesting. Something maybe we'll be encountering later as well. The local populace has capitalized on the appearance of these strange species, using their shells to fashion a rudimentary helm that is fairly resistant to the snail's acid. A piece of gear that most likely we will be able to get as a countermeasure to the acid. Other known uses of snail byproducts include a tasty local delicacy and a fireproof oil. And let's go over to the questions. So the snails are here. How do snails move? They contract and stretch. What does Achatina acidia mean? Acid-spitting snail. There you go. What is the trapdoor which snails use to cover their entrance to their shells? Sorry, what is it called? It was a caldarium? Oh, wasn't it caldarium? Oh, I thought it was. Wait, did I click the wrong one? Which of these is a snail byproduct? It is fireproof oil. Alright, there we go. Now, next up, we have monkeys. Tell me about monkeys, sir. Ah, monkeys, the simian collective. If you just follow me to the display case, I shall explain all about them. A monkey is a member of either of two known groupings of simian primates. These two known groupings are the Karamia monkeys and the harmless monkeys. Because of their similarity to monkeys, apes such as chimpanzees and gibbons are often called monkeys by accident. Though some natural historians don't consider them to be monkeys. Also, a few monkey species have the word ape in their common name. The Karamia monkeys are rumored to be fairly cunning and intelligent creatures, although rumors that they have learned human speech is anecdotal at best. In appearance, they stand much shorter than a human and tend to move in a hunched fashion. Karamia monkeys also sport a red mohawk, though it is unknown whether this is an affectation or not. They are very fond of bananas and bitternuts, eating them in huge quantities whenever they can get their paws on them. The harmless monkeys of Nos le Harmless, beautiful name, are a very similar but in some ways entirely different breed. They stand roughly the same size but are lighter color. Interestingly, Karamia monkeys have a deep dislike of seaweed, though this may stem from the actions of a number of irresponsible people. And this concludes my short lecture on monkeys. Alright, here we go. Let's have a bit of a chat about monkeys. Which have the lighter color, Karamian or harmless? Harmless? Yeah, okay. What color mohawk do Karamian monkeys have? Was it red? Okay. And there are two known families of monkeys. One is Karamian and the other is harmless. There's also hairless. Alright, let's have a bit of a look. I don't think we looked at the snail either, so let's have a bit of a look at that as well. Look at it climbing up. Beautiful. I love how they set up like this kind of like weird machinery kind of stuff to make them seem like they're real animals. So obviously, like my camel statement, you know, that was an actual camel, I presume. That was a like a machinery camel. So it's not really sad in that sense. But at that point, I wasn't aware of that yet. All right, so we have two things left. We have, what are these? Crabs? No, sea slugs and snakes. All right. Where are you, Mr. Giving me information? There you are. So, sea slugs. Something crustaceans. I just missed that. I just clicked a bit too quickly. You know, I was a bit too enthusiastic. The term sea slug is something of a misnomer. Whilst these small creatures have a soft body like that of a slug, they also possess a very hard shell like a snail. Very little is actually known about the sea slug, as we have, as yet, been unable to procure a sample for observation and study. For some reason, all expeditions we have sent have either vanished mysteriously, or those on the expedition have sent letters back announcing their desire to leave the museum and go on to do other things. It is presumed that the species is native to the very deep waters around eastern Ardone coastline. There must be some natural resource in the area that the sea slugs are using, as the underwater habitat there is much the same around many coastal areas from Gielinor. Though looking at similar species, we have determined that the sea slug is a harmless little creature. It spends much of its life grazing on seaweed and other plants' life. There are reports that these reclusive animals have two large fangs at their front, though this is assumed to be either for decorative or defensive purposes. If they do follow the same pattern as other creatures, the shell will be nigh on impervious to most attacks. The exposed soft skin may have a number of nematocysts or stinging organs similar to jellyfish. It is typical of prey animals such as these to develop some kind of unique defense mechanism that allows them to survive. If only we could acquire one for study, I'm sure we would find this mechanism to be truly unique. It's always so curious how things in nature evolve to create like this super like almost like fantasy-like things where you're not expecting to be a thing, just because it allows them to defend themselves and adapt to the environment that they have to live in. Let's check out these slugs. Like, I'm reading this book right now, or, well, I'm trying to listen to an audiobook, which is the first time I'm ever doing that. Like, normally I try and read books, but I've noticed that I don't really like reading as much as I like, you know, going for a walk. So I'm looking to combine it by going for a walk and listen to an audiobook. And it's called, like, I think it's A Brief History of Humankind or something. And it is rather interesting. Like, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. So if you're ever looking for an audiobook about, well, like evolution and stuff, it is very interesting. We assume that, also it's included on Spotify, at least in my case. We assume that sea slugs have a stinging organ on their soft skin. What is it called? It was this one? That I won't even try and pronounce. In what way are sea slugs similar to snails? It's the hard shell. Off of which coastline would you find sea slugs? It's Ardone. There we go, beautiful. Easy peasy. One more remaining, and then we move over to the final one. And I don't know what these kudos are for, by the way, but I'll just keep racking them up, and we'll keep going. So the last one is something about the snakes. Snakes. The slithering squamata. It's not aquamata, it's squamata. So let's go over to that as well. Serpentes or Ophidia. Also, I like how he's like doing the moves for all the animals. It's hilarious. I just hope my face isn't in front of it. I don't have my preview on me, but I think I'm not on it, so that should be good. They are the suborder under Squamata that snakes belong to, like a big family. Unlike lizards, snakes have no limbs whatsoever. Not that this limits them. Snakes live in or near every habitat in the world. Found in nice tropical forests, temperature, latitudes, and even in the ocean, some have adapted specialized stomach juices that they ingest in their prey as venom, while others prefer to grab and crush their food, while others still are fast hunters who use speed and strength to overcome their prey. The sense of smell in snakes has been enhanced in an amazing way. With most animals, like you and me, tiny particles are filtered through the nose. However, instead of using their nose, these animals use their tongues as well. When a lizard or a snake wants to smell its surroundings, it will wave its tongue around and pick up the particles in the air. The tongue then returns to the mouth, and the tips of the tongue are pushed up against the two tiny pits in the roof of the snake's mouth. Since these pits are split apart from each other, the tongue itself also has to split. This is why snakes have forked tongues. Really? That's why they have forked tongues? I never knew that. This one's actually rather interesting to me. The next time you see a snake sticking its tongue out at you, remember it's sniffing the air, not trying to bite you. Alright, that's actually really cool information that actually might be useful IRL in some capacity. So let's look at the snail. Hello there. Or not the snail, the snake, sorry, the snack. Hello, little cute snacky. Alright, on to the questions. Lizards and snakes belong to the same order. What is it? It's Squamata. Aside from their noses, what do snakes use to smell? Their tongue. Which habitat do snakes prefer? Anywhere. There we go. And that is yet another one completed. I think there's only one. Oh my god, wait, hold on. Is there going to be a downstairs? Oh my god. Wait, add plant. Hold on. What can I do here? Is this something that I can put stuff? Add to medium fossil display. We're missing part of the display. Medium fossilized limbs. And this is small fossilized limbs. Okay, so I guess I can return here with some stuff that I can probably get from somewhere. And then I can put them here. Oh wait, there's one here. Did I achieve this? The large fossil display. What is this? Examine. A bone of this size must belong to a leviathan. Okay. Don't know exactly what this is, but sure. Anyway, let's go back up the stairs. Oh, wait, is there... Wait, a fossil storage. What is this? Small fossils, medium, large, plant fossils, rare fossils, unidentified fossils. So, I'm assuming these are things I can somehow collect. But I don't know exactly how that works, which is something that we'll look into later. But if I ever do get some sort of fossils or something, at least I will know where to go. Ooh, dragons, turtles. Let's talk to the natural historian and see which one he wants to talk about first. Tell me about lizards. Ah, lizards, these scaly carnivores. Contrary to popular belief, even though most lizards have a yellow belly, they are not in fact cowardly. Most Gillinor lizards will not shy away from a good fight and can be very tough. This is due to a very thick and tough hide, made from thousands of thick scales. Most people who claim to be hunters have a very hard time trying to dispatch lizards. Interestingly enough, these scales are made from the same substance that your hair is comprised of. This substance is called keratin. Really? Lizards have a very well-developed sense of vision and hearing. Some people think that some of the lizards have a third eye. A tiny, light-sensitive, transparent structure on top of the heads that helps them regulate how long they stay in the sun. Can I have that also please? Like, I tend to be very easily burned by the sun, and I would love to have like a little like signal that just says, hey, get out of the sun! Besides just my skin getting red, because then it's often already too late. This is vital for the cold-blooded lizards who have no means to regulate their internal temperature. Like many cold-blooded creatures, if they are subjected to a sudden decrease in temperature, they will become sluggish and sleepy. And this concludes my short lecture on lizards. Alright, here we go. Another button. Oh, it's doing a bit of a flippy floppy thing. Wait, dude, those are proper like fitness moves right there. Okay, good job, man. Good job. How does a lizard regulate body heat? It is sunlight. What happens when a lizard becomes cold? It explodes. You know, I just imagine, you know, some sort of like super frigid wind comes over and it's like poof, just gone. But no, it becomes sleepy, I believe. Yes. I actually had a presentation, like as a kid, you know, I don't know exactly how this works in, you know, different countries. But as a kid, you know, we used to have these presentations we used to have to do, especially in elementary school, where you would have a bit of a subject and you would have to present it to the class. You know, you would need to do some research, which of course meant to go to Wikipedia, but don't actually source Wikipedia. And nowadays, I guess that would be go to ChatGPT. And what it would be is you would talk about a specific subject, and you know, I had a couple different subjects. One of them was actually crocodiles. So you know, these things really interest me. I do find them fascinating. That like the level of ancientness to them is just really cool. I think I did it about like the Milky Way at some point as well. Not the chocolate, but you know, space. And now, you know, we also had to do one about a country, and I think like a lot of countries were already taken. Like, you know, like the usual touristy ones like France and Spain and those kind of things were already gone. So I chose Peru. And to be fair, the Peru stuff with like the Incas and the Aztecs, really cool stuff. So I'm kind of happy with like all three of the things I chose because they were all super cool. Anyway, what order the lizards belong to? They belong to the reptiles. So is it also schemata? Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. All right, next up, tortoises. Here we go. The armored ancients. The tortoise is a very well-defended beast. It uses an armored shell just like its aquatic cousins, the terrapin and the turtle. See, I've never really known the difference about a turtle and a tortoise, but I guess I'll learn that today. Tortoises can vary in size from about as long as your hand to as big as a unicorn. Most land tortoises eat nothing but plants in the wild. Is it the difference between aquatic and non-aquatic? Like some can live in water and on land, and other ones can only live on land, and that's the difference? Did you know you can tell how old a tortoise is by the number of rings in its shell, just like a tree? I actually heard that before. Most land-based tortoises eat plants, feeding on grazing grasses, weeds, leafy greens, flowers, and cabbages. Tortoises generally live as long as people, and some individual ones have known to have lived longer than 300 years. Because of this, they symbolize longevity within some cultures, such as gnomes, who also breed them for battle. The oldest tortoise ever recorded was Mibbiwocket, who was presented to the king Hilthorg the Great by the famous explorer Admiral Bake, shortly after its birth. Mibbiwocket is still in the care of the gnomish royal family. Cool. Now let me press the button. I want to press the button. Let me press the button. Cool. Alright. Questions. Teachers, sir, I need the toilet. But I told you to go before we got here. But sir, I didn't need to go then. Alright, come on then. What is a tortoise's favorite food? Eat vegetables, right? I like how one of the options was kebabs. The ancient kebab. Which race breeds tortoises for battle? That's gnomes. And if a tortoise had 20 rings on its shell, how old would it be? Was it 1 year per ring? I don't know. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, now we can keep on going. Next up, dragons. Ah, dragons, the mighty hunters of the sky. There we go. A big, cool looking dragon. Let's get in fire under him. The dragons of Gielinor are a most confusing species. Standing at approximately 12 feet tall, these imposing predators strike fear into the hearts and minds of most sane folk. However, if you delve a little deeper into their history and lifestyle, a few things stick out as very unusual. With most species there is a line, an ancestry if you will, whereby you can track how a creature has come to be in its present form. For instance, you can trace the ancestry of the common house cat back to the same creature that became the saber-toothed Kiat. However, with the dragon, no such root ancestor can be found. There are many forms of dragon, such as the common coloured and the metallic or ferrous dragon. They colonize many areas of Gielinor, though most notably sites of ancient battles and small dank caves. Eating habits tend to vary, with the majority of their food being meat. However, it has also been noted that they can consume metals just as easily, with runite being thought of as a delicacy. Throughout history, dragons have appeared in myth and legend as fearsome adversaries and cunning creatures. However, modern evidence does not support this. Most young dragons are largely creatures of instinct, with a strong, vicious streak. The lifespan of the common dragon is as yet unknown, as no dragon has ever been observed dying of old age. Is it because us adventurers, like we're all just kind of slaughtering them? Although it has been mooted that spontaneous combustion could be considered a natural cause of death for this species. At least in this case, them exploding makes some level of sense because, you know, their innards are made of like some sort of fire-producing stuff. So there must be like some sort of ignition and gas system there which can technically explode. And this concludes my short lecture on dragons. There we go, beautiful. Press the button. Press the button. Come on, press it. There we go. Yeah, spew fire in my face. Yeah, I said that. What is considered a delicacy by dragons? It is it is cheese, probably. It's also adventurous, but most likely it's runite. What is the best defense against a dragon's attack? An anti-dragon breath shield. Also, cats was an option. What is the favorite territory of a dragon? So it's swamps, old battle site, or Lumbridge Castle. It's swamps. It's not swamps. How long do dragons live? Unknown. There we go. That's all of them. Alright. Yeah, he's standing next to the one I want to go to. This is a wyvern. Ooh. Let's chat wyverns, sir. Ah, wyverns, the extinct lizards. The wyvern's tale is a sad one. This now extinct species is presumed in some way to be related to the dragon, in that they both are large flying reptiles. The wyvern stands much shorter than the adult dragon and only has 2 legs opposed to the dragon's 4. Much of the evidence for wyvern behavior comes from the reconstruction of old bones in the icy mountains of Asgarnia. As most lizards cannot maintain their own body temperature, 2 theories as to how they managed to survive have been proposed. One is that Asgarnia was at one time a much more temperate climate than it is now. The other is that wyverns could generate fire internally in much the same way as dragons. If they followed the dragon paradigm, then they would have been carnivores, feeding on cows, sheep and other livestock animals. How and why the wyverns became extinct is something of a mystery, though if you consider the theory that the climate of Asgarnia changed suddenly, then this could provide an explanation. There are some inconsistencies in the findings we have for the wyverns, such as the odd wear patterns of some bones, which really could only have happened after the creatures died. Also, the bones we have collected remain a little below room temperature wherever they are kept. They have also been shown to radiate a very weak magical aura. I'm sure that in due time these mysteries will be solved. And that concludes my short lecture on wyverns. Alright, and I think that concludes my short lecture on this museum. Don't worry, I did indeed come back here to answer the final questions and claim my rewards after the video was over. I don't know exactly if there's more to do in this place. So, you know, for the people who mentioned this, like there was one person who had a comment, you know, requesting that I go here. And to that person I say thank you. This was a very fun experience. I have no idea what these museum kudos are. I have no idea if there's more stuff to do here, but I do like the fact that I got to explore this a little bit. I think we have talked to most NPCs, like maybe I've skipped like a couple of like little kids and stuff, but I think mostly we have spoken to the important ones. We've seen all of these, we've answered all the questions, pressed all the buttons, and I think we have done reasonably well. So yeah, I will give my throat some rest, I'll go hit the gym, and I'll be back for something really cool, which will be on the next video. So thank you so much for joining me again today, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.